It's Baschamania! Let me tell you something, brother. He gave us everything he had in him tonight. What you gonna do when Baschamania runs wild on you? Oh, it's gonna be a good one. And business just picked up here on the podcast. Oh, yeah.
All right, we got Cenzo. He's back. Round 2. How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the quarantine treating you?
I mean, it's not bad, kind of getting a routine after some time. It's not terrible.
How much you been working out?
I'd say, majority of the days of the week I work out.
Really?
I got an assault bike downstairs. I got some weights and stuff. I actually went and wrestled a couple times with out in Lewistown with Trent and Hayden Hidley. Yeah, I put up that picture of so that picture that I put up with Nolf and Hayden, so we had 5 people there, so there was I was the odd man out at the time, and I had my phone on them. They were just play wrestling, and I had my phone on them, just waiting for them to get in position. I got a pretty good one.
Dude, I just finally bought dumbbell. Well, I bought dumbbells from Rogue the second they became available a month ago, and I did a workout, and it's the first time in 15 years that I went 2 months without a dumbbell, and my biceps and my triceps from using them. I'm I've never felt this level of soreness, but.
First time I went and wrestled again, I couldn't lift my head up the next day. I was like, this is bad.
Well, I was wondering how anybody, I mean, I guess elite level athletes are different, but staying motivated through a quarantine is nuts. For me, it's business. And I guess for you, it's the same, but it's
yeah, I mean, if I'm not in the best shape that I could be in, I kind of take a look in the mirror and definitely lets me know that I could be in better shape right now. So that's definitely motivation.
I don't want to look in the mirror right now.
yeah, I don't do it a ton now.
So, and on top of that, we've been texting the last couple of weeks about some different stories, and that's one of the many reasons we're doing this. I'm sure it won't be the last. But another reason, too, is we've been talking about there's so many rumors that you're going to Arizona State. And it's funny to me, I understand rumors and I understand why they come about. What I don't understand is how they come about. You see certain names tweeting rumors, and I'm like,
yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense though, right? Because Frank Molinaro's there, and he's, I'm real tight with Frank Molinaro. I love that guy. And I did talk to them a little bit, just seeing things out. And, ultimately, I've decided to stay at Nittany Lion Wrestling Club because I think it's just, the best thing for me right now. I mean, our room is
how can
crazy
you leave
awesome.
Penn State?
Yeah, it's it's hard to leave. You don't want to leave. But
I get certain guys that do, but.
Yeah, it's tough, though. I mean, I love our coaches here. I love everyone here. These are my best friends. And, I just want to win some world titles with them in the next few years and, kick some butt.
Dude, I want to wrestle for Casey and Cal. And go.
Yeah, it's sick. It's really fun. It's a good time.
I love those guys. I was just texting Casey the other day, dude, you got to come on the podcast. Everybody wants to hear from you. And I know where Cal leans with media, but come on, man.
Yeah. I think Coach Casey would do a great job on a podcast. He has so much stuff.
He's got so much good insight. And
that's
what makes
insight on everything though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get sucked into a time vortex. If I go into his office and start talking to him, an hour goes by like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're staying at Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. I think selfishly being a Penn State NLWC guy, I understand certain guys talk about leaving and some guys do, and you root for them as they go. But once you're a Penn State fan or NLWC fan, you want everybody to stay. Even if it's not feasible, you want everybody to stay.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard, especially to keep, all the guys that, we have there. Guys definitely take pay cuts, and, that's just something you got to do. If you want to achieve your goals, that's something.
And I don't think people understand that when it comes to pay cuts and really training there. I saw some comments, and being so close to the room, I tend to stay out of it. But I saw like people like, oh, Gilman went there for more money, or Snyder went there for more money. And then you hear things like, trust me, it's not about the money. And it's just like,
yeah. I mean, like, just with those guys, I'm sure it definitely wasn't, they're great guys that, they want to win world and Olympic titles, and that's what we want to do here. So it just, it's a good fit. It makes sense.
And especially when you have guys like you and Nolf, like I asked both of you guys what it was like wrestling each other at the Pharaoh. And even Nolf said, like, I would love it to be me and Cenzo at the Olympic trials finals. Like, it'd be great.
Yeah. I like, if we're at the same weight, I want him to beat everybody he wrestles except for me. And
right.
I'm sure he feels the exact same way about me. So
right. And I think sometimes people just like to speculate, but I don't even want to get into the real serious stuff because you and I have been talking about some hilarious stories.
And we could talk serious wrestling all day. That's like
right. Like everybody talks serious wrestling, and everybody comes on this podcast and talks serious wrestling, and I want to give a place to that. But I also want to give a place for some of the stuff that's not told. And everybody talks about the stuff that's obvious. How'd you get better? How'd you get over this? How'd you deal with adversity? And I love consuming that as much as I love having the conversation. But what's also fascinating is the stories you start hearing as you and I have developed more and more of a friendship, and you tell me more stories. Dude, I crack up at some of these things. It's like, I'm like, wait, what? Like one of the things you were telling me was you quit wrestling. You quit wrestling at the Southern Scuffle your freshman year. So I want to hear this story, and everybody listening obviously wants to hear it.
So this one's like kind of wild because like, I've always just cut I cut a lot of weight like growing up and everything through it. So my redshirt year, I was wrestling 157, and I wrestled like one tournament at 157 earlier in the year, and it was a heck of a weight cut. Like it was bad. And so like, and I don't like check my weight like a ton, which like I've gotten way better at that, as I've gotten older.
Sure.
And stuff. But anyway, so me and my dad were going down the side of the Scuffle because I'm a red shirt, and our flight gets like canceled. So we actually drove there. We shared a rental car with Nate Brown from Lehigh.
Yep.
Yeah, with me and my dad. It was kind of weird, but nice guy. But it was just a weird situation. Yeah, nice guy, weird situation. But we drive down there. I hadn't worked out. Like I don't even know how much I weigh. It's like the day before I work out with like the team and everything, and like after the workout I was like 167, and I was like my weight's, and it's the night before, and I'm like, weight's not bad if I was like wrestling 165. Like then like my weight's good, but like after I worked out, I'm all dehydrated and like sucked out and everything because I like cut my water off, and I'm still like 10 or so pounds over after I work out, and like I was a little kid, so I was just like, I'm done. I was like, this is it. Like I go back to the hotel, I call Coach Cody, and I was like, hey, like, like I'm not wrestling here, and I don't think I'm gonna wrestle anymore. Like ever again. Like, I think I'm done. And he was like, whoa. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I'm done wrestling. And he's like, why don't you just go up a weight? I was like, not big enough. Like, my dad won't let me. Like, I just like
my dad won't let me.
Like a big conundrum. So I'm all pissed off and mad. I was like, this is bull crap. Like I don't want to wrestle anymore. Like I hate cutting all this weight for no reason because I couldn't even wrestle there. So then like I get home. My dad just flew me home the next day. He's like, we're out. Like, he was so mad at me, which naturally, but, so this story gets a little more interesting. I get back to Pittsburgh at home, and I'm just chilling with zero intentions of going back to wrestling, like zero intentions, like whatsoever. And then like one of my best friends wrestles at like a D3 school, like really close to home. And like I went to like hang out with him for like a couple of days. It was over winter break, and he was like, "Yeah," he's like, "You want to come practice with us?" And I was like, "All right, that's fine." So I went in and just beat up a bunch of D3 kids for like an hour and a half, and I was like, "Man, this feels so good." So then after that, so then I was like, "You know what? Maybe I'll go wrestle D3." So
what?
Yeah. So I was like thinking, maybe I'll transfer to like a D3 school. So I get home after that. I like tell my parents, I was like, hey, I think I could wrestle smaller division. Like I think it'd be really fun for me. I could wrestle whatever weight I wanted. And they're like, dude, you need to call Coach Kale and like go back to Penn State. And I was like,
right.
I was like, no, like I don't need to do that. And then after I talked to him, I thought about it and I was like, yeah, like that's probably the best move. But like, it's not like I actually left though, because it was all over winter break. So I just wasn't going to come back, but I came back. And
were they mad? Like, were they like freaking out? Like maybe they were going to lose you? Because you see it now where like all of a sudden Soriano leaves or different people leave. Like you actually see that happening to some degree.
I don't think that they actually thought that I was going to leave. They were probably like, yeah, he's a kid who's like having a hard time, like making weight and is probably freaking out. So like, that's probably what happened. And that is what happened at the time. But
so what was it that got you back?
So after I went and wrestled there, like Division III, then like with those guys, like I came back and talked to my parents and like, they were just like, is that like really, like, you really want to do that? You like, you know, like not like dissing on like, you know, that, but like you're at like the best wrestling school like in the country, like,
right,
you know, like those guys, we've only been there for not even a year, but like they put a lot of time in for me and everything. So like my dad probably was like, you should at least like give him a call. So I did, and then like I probably called Coach Kale and he was like probably just talked me back into coming, and then I was probably just on board. I don't remember the exact conversation, but like, you know, I was probably just like, yeah, like I'm an idiot. Like,
and I know
why
like
I did that.
You were kind of telling me this story, and before you got into it, like one of the things we were talking about is that weight cutting is such a serious issue. Like Flo just did a whole documentary on it, and you have everybody talking about weight cutting. What was it that led you specifically to cutting so much weight? Was it feeling like you could be so much more dominant at a lower weight?
I just thought it was what I was supposed to do. You know, it's just like I've, you know, get to like the smallest weight class you can, like, and be like healthy-ish there. You know, whenever I don't do that as much anymore, but like whenever I was younger, definitely.
And I know you've cut a lot of weight your entire career. Is that when you think it started to turn around, where you started to say, it's not worth it, I can still be good without cutting so much weight?
Yeah, I would say so. I probably, you know, made my biggest jumps, like, you know, probably going into my senior year of high school was whenever I like started to get a lot better. And then I didn't really cut much weight then, as opposed to like, you know, the rest of my high school career. And then same with college. Like I definitely cut weight in college, but you know, there's guys that definitely, you know, cut more.
Yeah. And speaking of cutting weight, another story you were telling me about was that you were 13 pounds over at the Powerade your junior year of high school. And I want to hear that story too.
All right. So I started the year at 145.
Yeah.
Like not really like cutting too much weight, but I was like, you know, I was still like a kid kind of at the time. Like these guys that kind of felt like I was wrestling grown men like as a kid. And I was just like, man, like I need to go down a weight. Like my coaches like were pretty much like adamant that I was going down. Like me and our one guy were both dropping down. I was going from 145 to 138. So right after Christmas Powerade tournament, we'd always do like a 3-session camp like the day before, because guys like me are a ton of over after Christmas. And
guys like me, 2-time NCAA champions, like serious wrestlers, guys like me.
So again, I didn't check my weight leading up to the tournament. This is the day before, and finished the first session with the camp. And my coach Sonny Abe was like, "Hey, like you should probably see how much you weigh. Like you should get on the scale right now, like in between." And I was like 153 pounds, and I was like, "Oh man, like this is gonna be hard," because like I just finished working out once. Like I didn't have like a ton left to lose.
Sure.
So I was like 13's like I've heard worse stories, like no doubt, but like my coaches were so mad. Oh my gosh. And like I just remember like I go back upstairs like to our wrestling room in high school, and I'm like briskly jogging around. I was like, I'm not making this. I was like, there's no way. And then I'm like briskly jogging, and my one coach is like following me around the wrestling room. And then just like, and I did this for hours, and then wrestled more, finished out the camp. Then after that, I was probably still like 8 over or so. And then I went home that night, and I would like run on the treadmill for like, I don't know, like an hour. And then I would sleep for like 20 minutes. And then I'd get back up and run more. And I'd sleep for 20 minutes. Yeah. So like I would like take naps throughout the night and then keep cutting weight.
But if you did this through your high school career, like at some point, like I cut some weight in high school. Terrible wrestler, but I cut weight to make like a JV tournament or something. And this is like me turning the hot water on in my bathroom to try to get steam. Like, stupid stuff, right? And I remember I hated that so much. And after going through this, why do you think you got to the point to where you were nonchalant? Like, guys like me, I didn't check my weight.
Well, I mean, I just didn't, like, you know, I just always like put things off, like kind of like just like when it comes to that, like, you know, I don't do that anymore whenever I cut weight. I'm not like check my weight and I'm like, oh, I'm like 15 pounds over the day before now. Like, not like that doesn't really happen. But like whenever I was in high school, I was like an immature kid. Then like, yeah, for sure. And happened.
Did you start taking it more serious? Or was it that you just didn't want to cut weight anymore when it got to the point to where, like, I mean, hey, you won a national championship as a freshman and a sophomore, and this is coming from somebody who struggled with being nonchalant with the weight. Like, what changed?
You know, diet. Like, I didn't have a great diet whenever I was a kid. You know, I would say this past season, my diet was extremely good. Like, I was only, you know, my weight was like I didn't even think about having to cut weight this year. It was great. You know, just my diet was really good. You know, just.
And how do you think you felt this year compared to like your freshman year?
I could have wrestled 2 matches back to back this year. Like,
really?
Like, yeah. Like, if I were like Big Ten finals, I could have wrestled another match right after that.
Wow.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you get tired wrestling, but like, there's a whole nother gear to it, really.
And I imagine if you're not cutting weight, that gear becomes open. Like,
yeah.
I'm laughing hysterically at these stories, and I'm not trying to make light of people who like cut weight, and cutting weight is a serious thing. Like, every top level wrestler will tell you stop cutting weight, especially youth. Like, as your body's growing, it's not a good idea. I'm laughing at the sake of like, you found the way out of that. You stopped doing that, and you became a 2-time national champion. You probably would have became a 3-time national champion had COVID not ruined NCAA's.
I like to think so, but
yeah. And I mean, real quick, because you and I haven't talked about this, what was your reaction when NCAA's got canceled?
Oh man, my heart was broken. It was like,
dude, my heart was broken, and I wasn't even wrestling. Like,
yeah, it was Nick Lee's birthday. They canceled nationals. He like,
oh, was it?
You know, yeah.
Oh,
like,
he didn't tell me that.
It was his birthday. Sad birthday. I was really upset.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, I you know, I didn't even know how to react to that. It was bad. But
did it take you time to process it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, it took me a few weeks to realize. I'm like, all right, like, you know, this probably could have saved like a lot of people or something. Yeah. And that's a good thing. I mean, yeah, I'm still crushed by it, you know, but
yeah,
you know, you gotta, things happen for a reason.
Does it give you more hunger for world and Olympic gold? Like, to not have a final match?
Yeah, you know, I lost my final match in college. I never got to wrestle at nationals my last year, so like, kind of stinks. I wanted to be in a world Olympic champ either way, so like, I'm still gonna, you know, put my best foot forward for that.
And selfishly, I'm glad it's going to be the NLWC. But one more story here that I got to hear that I started cracking up when you were telling me. Nolf made you drink, or you and Nolf drank.
No, he didn't make me do anything. Okay.
All I know is you got 5 gallons of chocolate milk.
Yeah, so this is a long time ago. This was after my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
And we were on the Young Guns team at Disney Doles, and I was our 106 pounder. I was still small, but like, I had to cut for 106 though. Like, you know, I was probably like low 20s or something like that, like low 120s. Which,
by the way, I didn't realize you were even teammates with Nolf that long ago. That's wild.
Oh, me and Nolf have been practice partners since we were like 8.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we started wrestling at Pitbull and Franklin Regional when we were like 8 years old. But yeah, we were like rooming together down at Disney Doles, and you know, I see like we go to the grocery store, and like Jason especially is buying like chocolate milk, Cocoa Pebbles, like all this stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, I was like he's really good, like, so if he like he's gonna drink chocolate milk and eat Cocoa Pebbles, like, so am I. So like, yeah, so we wrestle at Disney Doles, then I come back I leave for Fargo camp shortly after, and I'm 128 pounds going into Fargo camp. And I got to make 106 like 5 times, like Greco and freestyle. So I was just like, this is terrible.
And did Nolf wrestle at Fargo?
No, he didn't wrestle freestyle yet. Dizzy Doles, he was done for a bit, like till like Super 30.
Sure.
So I just remember like we're at Fargo at this point, and I'm just like, oh, I'm like, this is bad, like, you know. So I called my coach Sonny Abe, and I was like, hey, like I'm this much over, like, what should I do? And he's like, this is like.
Did he say go home?
Like, no. I was trying to go up to 113, but we didn't have any like weight slots available, so I had to make it. And he was like, go drink 6 ounces of Mountain Dew, and then run for an hour. Or no, it's not run for an hour. It was run for 20 minutes, walk for a minute, run for 15 minutes, walk for a minute, all the way down to like 5. And then he's like, and then do it again. So, and outside of Fargo, it's 1,000 degrees in the middle of summer. So I did it the first time, and then I went and sat in the sauna after that because I couldn't run anymore. Like I was just like no way. But like the Mountain Dew thing was crazy. It makes you start sweating a bunch. Like I've never heard that before. Yeah. So like he told me to go drink Mountain Dew because like I guess it like makes your body think it's way more hydrated than it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anybody listening weight cutting, don't do this.
Yeah, no. These aren't tips. These are just like silly things I've done throughout my life. Yeah, definitely not a tip show right now.
Right.
No, but I eventually made it. I just remember like I was like, you know, just cramping up all my matches, stuff like that. Just felt terrible.
So you end up making the weight though.
I made it, yeah. So I made the weight, and then I made the finals in Greco. I lost in the finals in Greco. And then freestyle, by the time freestyle came around, I was just so burnt out. And I was wrestling good guys too. I remember I wrestled Keyshawn Hayes, Cade Brock. I wrestled a few like pretty darn good guys, like, you know.
Yeah, it's not exactly the scrub tournament where you can go and just kind of like
but like guys would just pull a bunch of weight for that, and you know, I was just one of them, and I'm sure that there was other guys doing the exact same stuff as me, like no doubt.
Do you think that's like the worst weight cutting experience in your career?
No, my worst weight cutting experiences deal with me not making weight. Those are my worst ones. But
when did that happen?
While ago. Like it's happened a few times, but like
in high school?
Yeah.
What happens when you don't make it? Like when you didn't make it?
It's just like.
Did you get like pissed at yourself?
Oh yeah. Like it's extremely embarrassing. You don't want to like show your face in front of anybody, right? Like if you don't.
It's funny to hear that from like if I did that, who sucked when I wrestled in high school, that would make sense. For somebody to go from missing weight to being a 2-time, should have been a 3-time national champ. Should have been a 4-time, but realistically, definitely would have been a 3-time. Did that help you though? Did that help you through college? Like all your bad experiences?
I mean, I feel like it's made me way tougher because I've gone through like a lot of crazy stuff.
Sure.
Like that. And you know, I feel like I can, if it's like a wrestling match, like I can be in any condition in a wrestling match and be tough enough to wrestle. Like I've wrestled with the flu and stuff like that before. Oh, one time for one of my college matches, I had the flu and I was like 8 pounds over in the morning.
How were you over with the flu? Doesn't the flu normally like dehydrate you and like suck you out?
So I didn't work out for a couple of days before. So like I was just kind of chilling. And then as soon as I like started working out, I like sweat everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I had you probably don't remember him, but this actor, Kevin Sorbo, was on this podcast before I made it like an exclusive wrestling podcast. He played Hercules on TV. He's been on everything.
Good for him. That's pretty cool.
Everything from like 2.5 Men, the sitcom he's been on, you name it. And I asked him, like, for me, I'm a baby. If I get the allergies, I clear my whole day. Because if I got to talk and I'm sneezing, I get so aggravated, I cancel like the whole day. I've never understood for an actor or somebody who has to work for a living in that regard, how you fight through. Like, what do you do if you have the flu? And like wrestling's during flu season. Like you can't even just. It's not like it's a summer sport. Like predominantly, it's a winter sport. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, this was kind of towards the end of like our dual meet season one year. And it was tough, but like I felt really good while I was wrestling for like a little bit. I mean, I had a few like cramps in me just from like being like sick, but other than that, like after the match, I just went and like passed out. But it was.
That's when you know you're good. When you can wrestle with the flu, like that's what Michael Jordan did.
And that's way longer than 7 minutes too, right?
Right.
So like. Yeah, that guy's incredible. Like
that's got to be adrenaline. Like I don't know what else.
Yeah, like there's a point where adrenaline just kind of takes over, and like you go from like I was like drilling, trying to get weight off, like getting like really dizzy, you know, and then like I was in my match, and I was just like zen.
What made you want to wrestle? Like if you had like if I had the flu, I'd be like, it's not worth it. I don't want to get out of bed. Like what made you even want to wrestle?
I talked to Coach Kale, and he was like, he's like, normally wouldn't do this, but like, he's like, this would be a kind of cool story for you to tell. And I was like, yeah, all right. So.
And thankfully it's on Baschamania.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, it will be a cool story to tell someday. So
I think that plays into the passion too. Yeah. Like your passion for wrestling, and you see it. Like the last time you were on here, I think I started the podcast off laughing with, I still laugh thinking about it when you posted a picture of you going for the inside trip. You end up like you trip yourself against Marinelli. That picture for camp. You're like,
I made some money off that.
Like, it's not.
I wasn't even trying to. Yeah, I just thought it was really funny at the time. And like I wasn't even being serious with it at all. I wasn't like, this is gonna like get me, some camps for sure. But like people hit me up after that. It was kind of crazy.
Really?
Like, yeah, and like I wasn't expecting it. I just was like, wow, this is gonna be really funny. Like that was all. Like, I don't know.
I think it speaks to your truth too. Like it shows that you're not trying to oversell who you are. Like you have success, you have credibility. You either know it, you don't need to sell it hard.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I lose matches. It happens. But obviously I'd like to limit those. But.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, before I let you go here, moving forward, like what's your game plan, like training, getting ready? So you're not qualified for the Olympic trials, right?
No, I'm not.
So what's your plan? To just kind of wait to see what happens with the Olympic trials in 2021 with the last chance?
Yeah, I mean, whatever tournaments pop up, like I'm gonna be at. Like it's just.
Are you ready to wrestle just like the next tournament that pops up?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm ready to go right now.
Like if they had the backyard open in Wyoming tomorrow, would you go?
Yeah, I'd find a way there. Like I just want to get on the mat and just beat someone up. It's just like.
And Rec Hall's still closed, right? So aside from going to
we can't go in there. Can't go in there. We can't really do much.
Have they said how long that's closed for?
No. I feel like it's going to be a long time though. So.
Well, they're pretty much, they canceled the graduation, didn't they?
Yeah. So I was supposed to graduate like in 2 days, but I still am graduating.
But you're still
not like not physically. Like, I didn't really want to go to that anyway, so it's fine. Like,
what did they say you're doing? Are you doing any kind of ceremony?
We have a virtual graduation. So
what happens with that? They show your Zoom as they announce your name.
I'm probably not going to attend. I don't know. Like
I saw that the neighborhood, the town next to me, Hilton, where Yanni went, they're doing this thing where like a family and their graduate can come and walk the stage with nobody there. They get the diploma and then leave. That's crazy to me.
In Hilton?
Yeah.
Well, Yanni's from there, so it's definitely a weird place. They're probably kind of backwards.
They're literally like, they're letting people. I didn't read the whole article, but they're basically letting people go there and in increments, walk the stage, leave. Next family comes in the arena or the auditorium, whatever.
Who wants to do that? It's just weird. I don't know.
I didn't even want to go to my high school graduation. I definitely wouldn't want to go if I didn't have to. Like I went because you had to.
No, I was going this year because my mom wanted me to go. That's why I would have went.
Of course.
Yeah.
You almost left your freshman year to go to a D3 school. Of course she wanted you to.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, we're going to have to run this back again with some more
Of
stories
course.
because I know you have them. So thank you for taking a few minutes to tell some stories, and we'll chat soon, man.
Hey, no problem. Always happy to be on.
Awesome, man. We'll talk soon.
And the beat goes on.